I'm John Walsh, and I've dedicated my entire life to locking up the worst criminals.
We're tracking down one of the most ruthless gangs of lawbreakers we've ever gone after.
My son Callahan and I are fired up. With your help, we're coming for fugitives, hunting them down, and putting them right where they belong, behind bars, including these that you'll see tonight. Two best friends executed, igniting an alleged gang war in New York City and leaving a trail of surveillance video behind. Their mothers join us in studio in hopes that your tips can help us find fugitive Steven Santiago. Then, she was just 12 when the abuse began. Now, an accused predator is still free and one of the U.S. Marshals' 15 most wanted. We need your tips to put David Bonas behind bars for good. And later, a fight over a moped turns deadly in the streets of Boston, and the suspect behind it all is still out there. The manhunt is on for Anthony Chester. America's Most Wanted is the original true crime series, and we're back. You can run, but you can't hide. Hello, everyone. I'm John Walsh.
And I'm Callahan Walsh.
And this is America's Most Wanted. Tonight, we're tracking some real lowlifes who think they disappeared for good.
But they're wrong, because we've got something they don't. You.
For more than 30 years, America's Most Wanted has helped bring justice to victims.
With your help, AMW has taken down 1,198 fugitives. But we're not stopping now. Remember, if you recognize a face, pick up the phone or go to our website. Your anonymous tip could change everything.
Because here's the truth. You can run, but you can't hide. So let's saddle up and get to work. This is the kind of case that really stays with you. We want to warn viewers. Some of the details are hard to watch, so viewer discretion is advised. Now, this case involves two childhood friends caught in the middle of a violent feud that they had nothing to do with. Now, two mothers are living every parent's nightmare.
My daughter, Nikki, if she liked you, she was the best person in the world. But if she didn't like you, she won't try to be fake about it. She was tough as nails. My husband and I own a restaurant in the Lower East Side of New York. Nikki grew up in the restaurant as well. She'll go there after school. She'll help for a few hours.
What's up, boss lady?
She was always trying to help people. She was the one, oh, you're hungry? Come to the restaurant. Go look for Nikki. She'll make sure you're fed.
Despite her popularity, Nikki kept a small inner circle, including her friend from childhood, Jesse Parilla.
Jesse and Nikki was very good friends. They went to middle school together. Jesse, he was into every sport you can name him, but basketball became his passion. My son was a friend to many. If anything, he lost his life due to his generosity.
Yeah, I'm on Shore Road, and there's a car on fire over here. I don't know if there's people in the car or not. The car's engulfed in flames.
Police in the Bronx are now looking for a killer after two people were found dead inside a burning car.
It was around 8 in the morning. By the time I arrived at the location, really isn't until we find a shell casing adjacent to the vehicle that homicide gear starts kicking into place. We were able to get a plate off of the vehicle that assisted us in identifying the registered owner of the vehicle, Jesse's mother, Michelle Morales.
Investigators reach out to the families to deliver the tragic news that Nikki Wong and Jesse Parilla have been murdered.
It was the most terrible experience that any mother can experience. It's unimaginable. Losing a child is an unimaginable pain.
I can't imagine what she was going through, sitting in the car, knowing that she'll probably never get to go home again.
In the beginning, I was desperately looking for answers. What's going on? Why? Why would they do this to him?
Determined to find the people responsible for Nikki and Jesse's murders, the NYPD catches a break when a tip comes in.
We get a call from a Lower East Side precinct stating that the day prior to the incident happening, Nikki Huang's parents went to the precinct to report her missing, and then also that earlier in the day she had been robbed for a brown Louis Vuitton bag.
As detectives receive new tips, they discover Nikki's purse theft was linked to a gang war.
This was centered around these two rival gangs that come out of the Lower East Side, the Up the Hill and the Down the Hill gangs. And then at that point, we discovered that Nikki's family owns a restaurant in the middle of these two gangs.
The Up the Hill gang and the Down the Hill gang, these were people that came to the restaurant. And my daughter, she's always like, Mom, don't worry. Like, they know me, I know them. Like, you know, there's no bad blood between any of us.
Despite Nikki's assurances to her mother, it turned out that Nikki had been robbed by a member of the Down the Hill gang near her family's restaurant.
So now that we understand the proximity of Nikki's family's restaurant in relation to the other two gangs, other pieces start falling into place.
Accessing a vast network of surveillance cameras, detectives started connecting the dots of how Nikki's purse theft led to the gang war.
We obtain a video where we see Nikki, shortly after getting her purse stolen, venting to individuals inside of a store.
One of these individuals, an Up the Hill gang member, used Nikki's purse theft as an excuse to retaliate against the Down the Hill gang.
About 2 hours later, Up the Hill crew shot up a corner that is known to be frequented by Down the Hill, which is where Brandon Atkinson, a known Down the Hill gang member, was murdered. He was also the brother of Steven Santiago.
This high-ranking member of the Down the Hill gang had a lengthy history with law enforcement.
So tracking his whereabouts, we were able to get bodega video that has a clear depiction of what he's wearing on the day of the incident.
Meanwhile, phone records revealed that after her purse was stolen, Nikki called her close friend Jesse for a ride home.
A few hours later, Nikki pulls up to her residence in her Honda Accord that is being driven by Jesse Perea. Nikki exits the vehicle and she proceeds upstairs to her apartment and Jesse stays behind. Obviously, at this point, she was robbed of her keys, so she doesn't have access to the apartment, and everyone in the apartment was asleep, so she was unable to gain entry. Meanwhile, through phone records, we were able to determine that Jesse was in contact with members of the Down the Hill gang, trying to negotiate for Nikki's items back.
And it was through these negotiations that Santiago and his crew found out where Jesse and Nikki were.
Jesse was not a gang member himself, but he knew the gangs, obviously, from the neighborhood and was just trying to help a friend.
Minutes after Nikki goes upstairs, Steven Santiago was seen pulling up beside Jesse, intent on avenging his brother's murder.
In the video, what you see is that Steven Santiago appearing to coerce Jesse out of the vehicle. The other individual, you can actually see striking him. They get Jesse out of the car, and that's when the kidnapping of Jesse Perea happens. It is at that point Nikki receives a text message from Jesse, and it is believed that they used Jesse's phone to lure out Nikki. She leaves to come back downstairs, and Nikki, unbeknownst to her, is getting inside of a vehicle with Steven Santiago.
She was probably so scared. But she was also so brave. So I'm sure she didn't let them see her crack.
Let's take a closer look at the suspect, Steven Santiago. He's 37 years old with black hair and brown eyes, 6'1" and weighs 220 pounds. Authorities are offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to Santiago's arrest and conviction. If you have any information regarding his whereabouts, we want to hear from you. And remember, you can remain anonymous. Call us at 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com.
Coming up, from the burning crime scene to a carefully planned getaway, police close in on the crew behind it all. Then, he disappeared almost a decade ago, accused of horrific child sex crimes. Now, he's one of the U.S. Marshals' 15 most wanted, David Bonas. And later, the attempted theft of a moped explodes into violence, leaving one man dead and suspect Anthony Chester on the run. Let's get these dirtbags. Welcome back. We've seen how two lifelong friends vanished, triggering a desperate search across New York City. Now authorities retrace their final hours, a chilling phone call, a torched car, and the suspects caught on camera.
It's 2 a.m. and Nikki and Jesse are allegedly being held hostage by Steven Santiago in Jesse's Honda Accord. And at this point, Jesse's mother has been trying to get a hold of him for quite some time.
I keep calling now, back to back, back to back, back to back, till finally at 2:19, I hear, hello. I said, hello, are you okay? Yes, Mom. I said, are you coming home? Yes, Mom. And they hung up. That was the last thing I heard. Yes, Mom. I'm coming home.
Using traffic surveillance footage, investigators tracked the Honda Accord carrying Jesse, Nikki, and Steven Santiago, along with a small white Fiat driven by other gang members.
Both vehicles are taken up into Westchester, come back down into the Bronx, which is where Jesse and Nikki's murders took place. And then the car was set on fire.
After Nikki and Jesse's murder, Santiago and his crew get into the white Fiat and flee the scene.
We tracked the Fiat throughout the entire night. And in the morning, the Fiat comes to the location of 183 in Girard, where they light the car on fire.
Detectives believe Santiago and his fellow gang members burned the car to eliminate any evidence.
They then proceed on foot into Manhattan, and we subsequently follow them through video surveillance down to 106th Street and First Avenue. However, at that location, we do lose them for quite some time. It took almost a year for the first arrest to be made, and since then, there have been 5 indictments, 4 arrests, but there is still one suspect that remains at large. That is Steven Santiago.
All I had was one child.
I want the world to know that there's nothing wrong with giving up a criminal like this.
We just need the public's help.
I never even got to bury my daughter. Just please, if you have any information, reach out. We do want to leave New York. We do want to leave this neighborhood, but we're not going to do that until Steven Santiago's found and this chapter of our life closes.
Joining us now are Jesse's and Nikki's very brave mothers, Michelle Morales and Amy Chan. Thank you, ladies, for having the courage to be here, and I just offer you my heartfelt condolences. We belong to that same terrible club, Parents of a Murdered Child. The NYPD Chief of Detectives, Joseph Kenney, sent me this statement right here. The horrific murder of these New Yorkers devastated a community and created the greatest fear within our city. But NYPD has a long reach. And with the help of our law enforcement partners, the public, and America's Most Wanted, we will not rest until Jesse and Nikki's families, friends, and loved ones see the heinous fugitive placed behind bars. Strong statement, meaning they're not giving up.
I'm thankful. I'm glad that our kids weren't forgotten.
It just gave me more of the hope and the faith that justice is moving
Will be
forward.
done.
He did not deserve this.
Do you kind of support each other?
We do.
You do.
She knows what I'm going through.
Right.
I know what she's going through.
Right.
We both lost our kids.
The same way.
Same way. and you realize you're stronger together. You got one goal, and to get that bastard
And
off the streets.
That's the ultimate goal.
On a situation like this, I just feel like the community should have been outraged.
Yeah.
And everybody
They
should have
weren't.
came together
They weren't.
to support. But everybody was just keeping silent due to fear.
Yeah.
The way they made the story sound, it was terrible. Like, they really tried to, like, make Nikki look like she was the person that started all this, right? When she was the victim to begin with.
From the beginning, the
Right.
stealing of the purse.
And then became victim again. They made wrong right, and they made right wrong.
I experienced that firsthand when we were looking for Adam. You're grieving, your heart's broken, your heart is torn out, you're bleeding from that wound, and the media and other people are saying all kinds of things. Just awful. It's hurtful.
But the neighborhood that we've come from, it's not, you know, it has its dark times, but it also has a light to it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a neighborhood that this should not happen.
Right.
I mean, it's always been the same neighborhood. Like, I grew up in that restaurant. I always felt safe in the neighborhood. You grow up with these people, you watch out for them, but these are the same people that turn around and, like, took advantage, complete advantage of my child.
They were good kids.
Jesse was my everything, like my strength, my motivation. Just looking into those eyes.
Just being with you, I know somebody out there is helping that dirtbag. Somebody is protecting him. I've caught the uncatchable. We're doing your case because we believe we can help you, and we will. They haven't destroyed you. They haven't destroyed you too. So,
It doesn't feel that way.
I feel
but you know what? We give people hope. We have caught almost 1,200 of the world's worst, most dangerous dirtbags. I'd like to put him right up at the top. So, be safe. God bless you.
Thank you.
What a powerful interview. We got to catch this guy. So let's take a closer look at Steven Santiago. He's 37 years old with black hair and brown eyes, 6'1" and weighs 220 pounds. Nikki and Jesse were murdered and their vehicle set on fire in the East Bronx section of New York City. But the Down the Hill gang is centered on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. As to Santiago's whereabouts, investigators have received tips literally all over the map. He may have ties to North and South Carolina. Santiago also has ties to the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and it's possible he may have fled to Mexico. Authorities are offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to Santiago's arrest and conviction. Let's try to get justice for these grieving families. Call us at 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to our site, amwtips.com.
Coming up, he vanished nearly a decade ago, accused of sexually abusing a young girl for years. Now an alleged predator is one of the U.S. Marshals' 15 most wanted, and it's past time to bring him in. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You know, it's one of the most disturbing cases we've ever seen. A teenage girl comes forward after years of horrible sexual abuse. But before police can make an arrest, the suspect disappears. Now, nearly a decade later, the alleged predator is still on the run and on the U.S. Marshals' 15 most wanted list.
My name is Alicia Galvin, and I am a survivor of sexual assault. The person accused is my stepfather, David Bonas. He sexually assaulted me throughout my whole teenage years. Growing up, I lived with my grandparents. I had a very strong connection with both of them. I viewed them as my mom and my dad. But that all changed when I was 12 years old.
In 2003, after years of separation, Alicia's mother invites her to live in South Dakota. hoping for a fresh start alongside Alicia's younger sister and her new husband, David Bonas.
When I first met David, I thought he seems like a good dad. He worked at a car dealership, and I felt comfortable with him. I wanted to view him as a father figure. And I seen that my mom was happy and my little sister was happy, so I just kind of took it day by day with everything. But very quickly, he started out with the inappropriate compliments. I was 13 years old when David made the comment that my butt had looked good in what I was wearing. That's not something a father figure does. And there was physical advances, you know, a touch on the shoulder or a stroke of the hair. And then it just kind of gradually grew from there. My mom worked at a casino till like 2 in the morning, so he had all that time. When I would go to sleep, I would always make sure that like my sister was right near me to where there was no room for anyone else. But it didn't stop him. He would just pick up my sister and move her down to the floor. He just took something that was very precious, that you're supposed to share with somebody that you love. He was raping me. He would tell me I better not tell anyone. If you tell anybody, I'll hurt your mom and your sister. I felt scared throughout my teenage years, but I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know what he would do, and I did not want to find out. I was constantly watching over my shoulder.
Alicia endured the abuse for 4 long years until David's latest demand pushed her to the brink.
So I remember my mom was going to Wyoming, and I really wanted to go with her, but she said I would have to ask David, and he said no, so I had to stay. I was going back into my room when David said, check the first drawer. I just opened the drawer, and I see that there is 2 things of beer, and then there's some Vicodin, along with the note saying, take these pills and drink these beers, and when your mom's gone, you know, I'll make you feel good. I felt disgusted. I just think I was over everything. I had to tell someone what was going on. I finally felt like I'm done with this nightmare.
Let's take a good look at David Bonas. He's 57 years old, 5'9", and weighs 180 pounds. He has green eyes and brown hair, though he may be balding at this point. The U.S. Marshal Service is offering up to $25,000 for information leading to his arrest. If you recognize Bonas or have any information on his whereabouts, we want to hear from you. And remember, you can remain anonymous. Call 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com.
Coming up, when a very brave Alicia finally shares her secret, police move fast to bring David Bonas in. But when they grill him, you won't believe what he does next. And later, neighborhood dispute turns deadly after a fight over a moped explodes into violence. Now police are on the hunt for the alleged killer who got away, Anthony Chester. But first, we need your help tracking these dirtbags down. A daring drug heist in Danvers, Massachusetts. Watch as this masked gunman terrifies pharmacy staff while making off with powerful meds. At a CVS located at 1 Maple Street, the suspect enters the store at 5:16 p.m., suspiciously wearing a face mask and sunglasses. He makes a beeline to the pharmacy, pulls a gun, and forces a female employee to open the narcotics safe. Witnesses overheard him demanding Xanax and other controlled substances. The woman remains calm while tossing bottle after bottle of prescription pills into a black trash bag. the gun only inches away from her. That wasn't enough, so he demands another employee throw in even more narcotics. In less than 2 minutes, he's looted hundreds of prescription drugs and rushes past the shopper to make his getaway. The suspect is described as a tall white man with a slender build. Authorities warn the public that he's considered armed and dangerous. If you recognize this man, call 866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com. More cases after the break. Welcome back. Alicia Galvin held on to a dark secret for years until one day the abuse was too painful to hide. But when police bring Bonas in for questioning, the suspected predator finds the perfect chance to disappear.
David Bonas, my stepdad, sexually assaulted me for years. There was never a time where it wasn't going on. And after reading the note, I didn't want to go through it anymore. You know, that was just the breaking point for me. I had to tell someone what was going on. With David, I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend, but I met Jordan my sophomore year, and we would skip school all the time. Our relationship had evolved to where I felt very comfortable with him. So at that point, I did tell him everything. He said, "I'll do anything, I'll help you." I felt very relieved knowing that somebody actually believed and is gonna help me get through this. And so he was the one who told my mom what David was doing and that it was going on for years. My mom blew up when she confronted David. After that, we went to go talk with the police.
What Alicia disclosed was that her stepfather, he was introducing drugs and alcohol, and to be sexually violated, that had to have been so frightening for her.
David Bonas was interviewed regarding the allegations.
You're David? Yeah.
Law enforcement wanted to know his side of the story at the time. They gave him an opportunity to give it, and he gave the interview under his own free will.
What's your relationship like with Alicia?
She said something about I've been doing stuff with her for several years or touching her or whatever, and that's when she was adopted. So I haven't done nothing.
Would you be willing to do a buccal swab?
In 2008, DNA is very much a thing. Law enforcement is very interested in getting a swab of Bonas's DNA to compare to a pair of her underwear. Alicia suggested we'll have his DNA on it.
Would you be willing to do that?
I just want to get in my car and go home.
He refuses.
After the interview, David Bonas is allowed to leave. He's not under arrest at the time. Our best guess is that David Bonas left Rapid City knowing probably full well that a warrant was inevitably going to be issued for his arrest.
We will not stop until we find this man. Help us find David Bonas. He's out there.
With David still being on the run, I will not ever feel safe. This nightmare won't be over until he is behind bars. And I just want anyone who may be out there experiencing the same thing, just always know that it is important to get your story out. There will always be somebody there to believe and help you through everything.
Joining us now is an old friend of America's Most Wanted and a former Marshal, Nikki Ralston. Nice to see you again. Thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
This creep had been out there for a long time, and you guys put him on the 15 Most Wanted. Why was that so important?
The fact that he's on the run, that alone can make him unpredictable, and that unpredictability is very dangerous.
How brave is Alicia to come forward and talk about this?
She is a very strong woman today. I can't emphasize that enough, but Getting this guy in custody could definitely do a lot for the emotional closure for both her and her family.
Yeah. How often would you say abuse cases are domestic?
More often than not,
Yeah.
the victims know they're offenders.
What should people look out for?
Usually there's some red flags. A lot of people choose to ignore those red flags, but just take a second look. Sexual predators build trust with their victims very slowly, and they slowly introduce behaviors that are inappropriate and desensitize a victim.
But they're good at hiding it for so many years. You know, it's not like the rapist who attacks one time, maybe. These guys get into the life of the victim.
They come across as being very empathetic and helpful and caring, but it's all for show.
I'll bet he thinks that he's bulletproof.
He may be in a very comfortable atmosphere right now, but seeking the public's help definitely going to make it harder for him to hide.
Yeah.
You know, his situation may have changed. He may have moved to a different city. He may be in a new relationship, and people may not know that he's wanted.
And you being here and talking about this 15 Most Wanted, it may open the door to somebody goes, oh my God, this guy's been cleaning my pool for 5 years.
Right. And I understand he worked in the automotive industry, so he could be selling cars, he could be a mechanic somewhere. Somebody knows this guy. And if they see something, it doesn't have to be 100% sure. Let us check it out.
I'm an honorary sworn marshal, which I'm very proud of.
Yes.
So I know the track record between America's Most Wanted and the U.S. Marshals is a pretty damn good one.
I agree.
Caught a lot of bad guys.
Yes, we
and
have.
the one thing I love about the Marshals is that when we get those tips, you guys get up in the middle of the night and roll.
The United States Marshal Service and our state and local partners will not stop until we find him. He's not going to outrun justice. It's in his best interest for the safety of himself and the safety of all those around him to turn himself in.
Well, let's hope somebody makes the call on this creep because he stayed out there way too damn long.
I agree.
Great to see you. Thanks for all the great work you did when you were a marshal.
Thank you very much for having me.
God bless. Cal.
Here's a close-up on David Bonas. He's charged with more than a dozen counts of sexual assault related to a minor. As we said, he's among the U.S. Marshals 15 Most Wanted. He's 57 years old, 5'9", and weighs 180 pounds. He has green eyes and brown hair, though he could be balding. A few details about his work history. Bonas is an expert auto mechanic, skilled at repairing Dodge and Chrysler vehicles in particular. Authorities suspect he's working in automotive repair, maybe at a dealership or a garage. Investigators believe Bonas left Rapid City, South Dakota in 2008, knowing a warrant for his arrest would be issued. There was an alleged sighting of Bonas a few years later. A former coworker recognized Bonas outside a grocery store in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. He also has ties to the Dix, Nebraska area, about a half-hour away. Bonas also has work experience with a railroad company in Wyoming, as well as connections to Colorado and New York. He may have even crossed the border into Canada. The U.S. Marshal Service is offering up to $25,000 for information leading to his arrest. If you have any information on David Bonas, your identity can be protected. Call us at 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com.
Coming up, a good Samaritan steps in to stop a theft. Seconds later, he's bleeding in the street, and the man who allegedly stabbed him gone without a trace. We need your help to find him before he strikes again. You don't want to miss what's next. Welcome back. As you're about to see, it happened fast. A scuffle over the attempted theft of a moped on a Boston street. But when a father stepped in to help, trying to do the right thing, he paid the ultimate price.
This is Ernest. And I love this picture. Ernest was that type of person that everybody loved to be around. He made everybody happy.
Ernest Sims was a son, a father, and Ernest Sims was a good Samaritan. Unfortunately, he paid a very high price.
Police, we got police, ambulance.
When Boston EMS arrived, they discovered Ernest Sims suffering from a stab wound to his neck. 13 minutes after police responded to the scene, Ernest Sims was pronounced dead.
Ernest was on his way to the hospital. When I got there, that's when I learned that my son was gone. I got to see him, but he was gone.
Just hours earlier, Ernest was enjoying the last day of a holiday weekend at his grandmother's house.
What started out as a Memorial Day cookout ended in cold-blooded murder.
And the entire event was caught on tape.
Cameras captured a two-tone Lexus stopping in front of the home on Buford Lane.
Detectives would soon learn that the alleged killer was a drifter, supposedly intent on getting his hands on this scooter, parked in front of Ernest's grandmother's house.
Somebody exits the vehicle and approaches the scooter parked in front of the residence. While the individual is lifting the seat, the owner of the scooter emerges from the rear of the house.
It appeared that the suspect was trying to take the scooter, but Ernest Sims came out and intervened. From what we can see on video, Ernest Sims bumped the suspect off of the sidewalk and away from the scooter's owner. The suspect responded by punching Ernest Sims in the face. A violent altercation ensued out into the middle of the street and back and forth on the street.
My cousin just got into it with a random guy that showed up in front of the house, and now my cousin just passed out in the street. He's bleeding.
The cause of Ernest Sims' death was a puncture wound to his throat. There were blood stains on a vehicle within the crime scene, as well as on the scooter. One of the video clips we recovered allowed us to get a good view of the suspect and his clothing. And it also showed what appeared to be a long metallic object in his hand. According to the timestamp on that video, it happens immediately after the stabbing. I believe that object is likely the murder weapon.
A bike. A bike. And my son did not know this person at all. But that's Ernest. Ernest is always going to be that person to protect. Keeping the peace. Ernest always been like that ever since he was little.
We were able to recover the suspect's motor vehicle. The white Lexus was parked approximately 1 block away from the crime scene. The vehicle was registered to Anthony Chester.
It appeared Anthony Chester was living out of the vehicle.
We discovered several small hand tools, such as screwdrivers. We still have not found the murder weapon.
Anthony Chester's transient lifestyle made it very difficult for us to locate him. Very little in the way of social media or any other footprint that could help us find him.
I still got his phone number in my phone. I won't delete it. I still got his message. I won't get rid of it. Just to hear his voice, just to hug my son, I would love to do it. Ernest means a lot to me. I would not want nobody to go through what I'm going through. It's the worst feeling in the world. I want justice for my baby.
We're joined now by Ernest's sister, Shia Sims. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Take me back to the night that this happened. This guy just shows up on your grandmother's doorstep.
Right.
Tries to take the moped.
I'm pretty sure he just went out there to diffuse the situation, but my brother was a protector. He was always there to try to save the day or definitely just swoop in and help out. I'm sure he put up a fight. He was being protective of his, not only his grandmother, but his family, and this was the outcome.
You know, it's so unfortunate because we see this all the time with Good Samaritans. They step in, they're doing the right thing. They're standing up to a bad guy.
Yeah.
And ultimately they become a victim.
Yes.
Do you wish he hadn't intervened that night?
I do. I wish that I could have physically been there to at least even say to him, like, you know what, it's not worth it, let it go.
The moped isn't worth your life.
Yeah, it's not. You don't always have to act.
What would it mean to you and your family to see this guy Chester caught and put behind bars?
That would mean everything to me. I want him to think about this every day and know that he's hurt not only my brother physically, but my whole family mentally, emotionally. I become like a shell. I don't necessarily do the things that I used to do, but I feel like it's an honor for me to have even known him and to try to get his story out there.
I know our viewers out there want to get justice for your family. I would remind anybody in that area, if anybody has footage from the night Ernest was killed, review that footage. There might be more information on there. Maybe a better shot of this guy's face.
Yes.
If somebody out there knows where he is, we're hoping they give us that information.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
please.
Absolutely. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Here's a closer look at Anthony Chester. He's a 33-year-old black male, 5'9" and weighs 190 pounds. He was last seen in the Roxbury area of Boston, where a murder warrant has been issued. He's currently listed on Boston Police Department's most wanted list. If he looks familiar, or if you know anything about what happened the night Ernest Sims was murdered, call us at 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com. Now, when we come back, we'll run down the fugitives we're after tonight. And remember, it only takes one tip to take a bad guy off the streets. Stay with us.
You can make a difference.
Welcome back. Let's take one more look at the fugitives we're tracking down tonight. Steven Santiago is wanted for the double homicide of 22-year-olds Nikki Huang and Jesse Parilla in New York City. He's 37 years old with black hair and brown eyes, 6'1" and weighs 220 pounds. We want to show you another image of Santiago. This one might be closer to how he appears now, with a more narrow face, no glasses or beard. Authorities are offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to Santiago's arrest and conviction.
David Bonas, who is on the U.S. Marshals 15 Most Wanted list, has been a fugitive since 2008, wanted on multiple child sexual assault charges. He's 57 years old, 5'9", and weighs 180 pounds. He has green eyes and brown hair, though he might be bald. The U.S. Marshals Service is offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to his arrest.
Anthony Chester is wanted on a murder warrant in Dorchester, Massachusetts, for the fatal stabbing of Ernest Sims in 2022. He's a 33-year-old black male, 5'9", and weighs 190 pounds, last seen in the Roxbury area of Boston. If you have information about any of these fugitives, don't wait. Every minute counts. And remember, you can remain anonymous. Call 1-866-AMW-TIPS or visit amwtips.com. As we wrap up, we have 3 generations of crime fighters with us tonight. This is my son, Declan. And we all want to say thank you for watching. I'm Callahan Walsh.
And I'm John Walsh. And remember,
you can make a difference.